the days the nights were stained with blood. The strange massacre in Benue didn't start today as we go back years ago. Between 2001 and 2004, in the fertile farmland of Gwer and Gamu in Benue State, something terrifying happened. Waves of coordinated night attacks descended upon peaceful thief communities, villages of farmers, mothers and children who knew little of politics or war. These were not random crimes, they were brutal, systematic raids carried out by armed militias widely believed to be Fulani headsmen. Yet no one was ever held accountable, no tribunal, no public reckoning. The patterns were terrifying. The attackers struck at night, under silence, catching entire village in their sleep. Houses were burned to the ground, families wiped out, women were killed while cooking, children murdered in their beds. In some compounds, not a single person survived to tell the story. Over those 4 years, the violence came in waves, 2001 then 2002 and again in 2003 and once more in 2004. Hundreds of people were slaughtered, villages vanished, but Nigeria moved on. There were no national days of mourning, no emergency security deployments. The press moved on quickly, government responses were minimal, statements issued and forgotten. Survivors were to remain calm and rebuild even though they had nothing left to rebuild with. We must now ask, what exactly are these terrorists fighting for? Why was Benue expected to endure what other regions would never tolerate? When the Ijaw militants of Niger Delta rose up over oil exploitation and environmental degradation, the federal government responded with overwhelming force. Under President Obasanjo, towns like Odia were flattened in military raids, the region was left smoldering, punished into silence. Yet when communities in Benue are massacred repeatedly, the tone changes, dialogue replaced with outrage, delays replace justice. Why? This is the question history forces us to ask, because history is not a dusty record, it is a living truth and when ignored, it returns with blood. The Gwer and Gamu massacre were not isolated events. They were part of a large pattern of land struggles, ethnic conflicts, government negligence, security failure. They were a signal that Benue was under siege, not by foreign force, but by a conflict the nation refused to name out loud. Today when attacks happen in Aguta, Logo or Ucom, many react as if it's a new crisis. But to those who lived through the early 2000s, this is not new, it's simply pain repeating itself. We tell this story not to remember the past but to confront the present, because violence that goes unrecorded will be repeated. And any people who do not understand their history will meet it again wearing a different mask. The tragedy of Gwer and Gamu is not just a thief tragedy, it is a Nigerian tragedy. And until it is recognized as such, remembered, taught and confronted, we will remain in a country where suffering is regional and justice is optional. We will always remember the lovely souls lost in the massacre, bright Nigerians with bright futures. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share and leave a comment. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel Nigerian Past Crimes. Thanks for watching.